Hey, I'm Roland with Mobile Geeks, and this is our quick unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy S5. So the S5 comes in this typical standard, nowadays standard Samsung box in this kind of wooden look, and yeah, it's based on the newest technology that's available. So we have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 in here, combined with 2 gigs of RAM and a 5.1-inch Full HD screen. And yeah, let's get it out of its box. But first, we'll note that this is actually a European version, so this cannot be used outside of Europe without having used this for 5 minutes with a SIM card from a European operator in the region of Europe, which is defined as whatever EU countries plus Albania and a bunch of other countries, before the certain region lock that Samsung is employing on these devices is removed automatically. And yeah, the reason for that is still unclear, but we're guessing that Samsung is trying to stick to some contracts or has at least struck some contracts with European operators that are pre-installing stuff, and they just want to make sure that those guys make their money. So here we have the Galaxy S5 itself. Pretty good looking already. Has his new plastic bag with these dimples on here. This is the black version, or charcoal, that's what they're calling it, wrapped up in foil. So we have these chrome looking plastic rims around the device. And yeah, let's put it aside for a second and dive deeper into the box. So we have the quick user manual. Just tells you how to set up the device and get started. Otherwise, we have the headset plugs. These are standard Samsung headset. It's pretty much the same device or the same design as it's been for the last maybe 5 years, or feels like 5 years. Down here we have the micro USB adapter cable. So this is just a standard micro USB cable, and the corresponding power adapter comes right here. Standard USB port right there, and a charging power of 2.0 ampere. And down here there is the 2800 milliamp hour battery. I'm just going to get out of its foil right here and throw this into the Galaxy S5 itself. Let's remove the foil. Pretty much covered in foil all the way around. There's another one on the front. Just going to remove that too. There you go. And as you can see, we have a kind of leathery look on the back, still reflecting. It's quite heavily attracting on fingerprints. Right now my fingers are pretty clean, but as soon as you got stuff on your fingers, it is definitely going to stick to that. And it is a removable plastic bag, since the whole device is made out of plastic, so they haven't changed the build quality. But what they've changed is they have included a waterproofing sealing in here in the back, so that adapts to the same areas around the back of the device to keep the water out, and this will actually resist water and dust up to a certain point. So you won't be able to dive with this, but you can actually definitely take this into the shower, and it is not going to suffer any water damage as long as you make sure that the sealing around the back is totally stuck on and there's no holes left. So here we have a 16 megapixel camera. Down here we have the autofocus light, or the flashlight, plus another 2 components that are assembling the heart rate sensor that's also included in this device. Over here we have a bunch of pin connectors, for example for the wireless charging cover. Right next to that is the micro SD and micro SIM card slot. There's this kind of a combined slot, so up top you will plug in the SD card, and underneath that is where the SIM card goes. That's the spot for the 2800 milliamp hour battery and your speaker right here. On the bottom you get a micro USB 3.0 port, but Samsung is not putting a cable or a compatible cable in here. You can just use the charging cable for this part of the plug right there, and you'll need a separate cable for using the data speeds that USB 3.0 offers. Up top we have a 3.5 millimeter headset jack as usual, plus an IR blaster. There's a noise cancelling mic right here, and this tiny sticker actually tells me that this is the Qualcomm based version running the 2.5 gigahertz Snapdragon 801 in here, and there's also a Exynos version that my colleague Sasha is probably gonna get in Taiwan. And yeah, you just plug in the battery and then you're pretty much ready to go. I'm just gonna throw on the back right here, make sure it's all set. On the side you have the on and off button right there, plus you get the typical volume rocker on that side. On the bottom you also have the standard Samsung buttons, so you get a home button in the middle, plus on the sides the multitasking button and the back button. That's also new down here, so every time you boot up the device it'll tell you that it is definitely running Android, whatever Samsung is doing to it with its TouchWiz interface. Up here we have a 2 megapixel camera, the distance and light sensor, the speaker right there, and a notification LED over here. So that's the Super AMOLED 5.1 inch Full HD screen, definitely a nice brightness up there. And also included in the home button is the new fingerprint sensor, before I forget to mention that. So this has been my quick unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy S5.